What's up, fellow Sambarians? Oh man, foot. Ooh, my foot's killing me. So I haven't made a video, and I don't even remember the last video I made. There's just been a lot going on here with the Bravo and other little things. I did all the bushings on the Bravo and lowered the Bravo with the white zoom down springs, which I'm pretty happy with. It could, just like everything else, it could go a little bit lower. I might end up chopping the front springs, maybe cutting a link off. Just, it's almost like the front didn't really lower. I think the spring rate changed just to match the back. Not entirely sure, but the van kind of sits pretty level, and I was hoping to have a little more drop in the front, but whatever, I'll figure that out. So I was working on my KS4 today. Got a lot of but vibrations when I turned the air conditioning on. It's starting to warm up in Washington, and thank goodness I got AC in this thing. So I thought, oh, the motor mounts are old and the rubber's hard, and just needed to be changed. Obviously, it's 25 plus years old. So I did this one here, the left rear trans mount, and then this block one in the corner of the engine. I don't know why I didn't do them sooner. I'm just lazy, I guess. Well, half the problem is I would get them in, put them in the store, and I would try to hold one for myself, but I would always end up selling the one I was going to use to somebody. So I finally was like, okay, we're just going to do it. So then I don't have it and I can't sell it. So finally just replaced it. I did a video doing this one in the corner a while ago where I showed taking this plate off and doing it that way. That was a good way to do it. But today I wanted to try something different. I actually just took the 2 bolts out of this one here, and I know I have the infamous Squid Pipe. So I have access to everything. So if you got your stock exhaust on here, all the stuff's going to be covered up with heat shields and really hard to get to. But if you get the heat shields off and you get access to this left rear trans mount here, and you can get these 2 bolts out, or maybe you're replacing that mount along with this one, which I do have these right now. I do have them in inventory since I just picked up a few of the block ones and a few of these ones. So if you got to replace them, they're in my store. But if you take these 2 bolts out, and obviously you put the motor on a jack, the piece of wood, you can actually I used a big old pry bar, and if you take those 2 bolts out, it allows you to slide the engine over, a half an inch or so, just enough to get this block out. So if you're having problems trying to get this lower motor mount, the mount itself, the metal bracket off, you can use a pry bar, take these 2 bolts out of the trans mount, so then it allows, I didn't take the center one out just because I didn't want the motor to be falling down. I just took these 2 out so it will slide side to side. So I slid it over with the pry bar, popped the block out, put the block back in, and then slid the motor back over again and bolted it back up. So here's the old one. Just make sure that these guide pins right there, they line up with the holes on the cross member here. I made this video because, what was I gonna do? There was a few things I wanted to address. Squid pipes. So we've been having a hard time acquiring the swirly pipe that goes into the muffler. The mufflers and all that stuff is very easy to get. There's been a huge increase in custom exhaust for Sambars, which is awesome. Everybody's figuring it out finally and stepping away from the idea that carbureted Sambars shouldn't have exhaust. So right on, people are finally souping up their Sambars, which is awesome. So they're starting to get these flange pipes with the motorcycle mufflers off Amazon and not welding. I don't think anybody's welding them. I think they just butt together kind of like a motorcycle. So that's why it's so appealing, is because you don't have to weld it. You can literally bolt it on with the flange to your stock exhaust manifold, and then still use your cover, because it's just the muffler just comes straight out. So that's a good idea to do. They're in the Facebook groups, everybody's kind of doing those right now. But going back to the Squid Pipes, the squirrely section here, those are really hard to get a hold of right now. They're either extremely expensive on Amazon, or they're not available anymore, because I'm pretty sure they're coming from Alibaba and someone buys a few of them and sells them on Amazon. So the only other way to get them is through Alibaba, and they're pretty expensive. You got to buy a bunch at a time. So I apologize. I know I told people I was gonna, me and Special K's, we're gonna have Squid Pipes available for sale. That's just not gonna happen right now, unfortunately, until we find the Squid Pipes. Headers, I have some more. I sold out of these. I have more coming this way this month. So if you're still interested in doing a header and you want to do the custom exhaust with the flange that you can buy off of Amazon, with the motorcycle muffler that you can buy off of Amazon and do your own, that's awesome. You can totally do that. Like I said, I'm gonna have more of these headers coming soon. I surprisingly sold out of them, and pretty quickly too. So those are coming. So that addresses some questions with the Squid Pipes. Again, I'm really sorry I got everyone excited that we were gonna make these, but it's these stinking squirrely pipes. Like, they're really hard to get for some reason, or they're just extremely expensive, and it's like, we want to build an exhaust that's affordable, and it just doesn't make sense when they're that much money. So anyways, hopefully we'll figure that out soon. Okay, another thing I wanted to address, the dual breathers. So I know I didn't really make a video on me doing this, the valve cover install and all that, because I already did a video installing the red cover. So the video I did with this was just a time lapse, doing it just doing it all the way through with a time lapse, and it came out really cool. And then I ran 2 breathers up here. Now, so I've been getting asked questions about the double breathers, so hopefully these people who have been asking, or you're curious about it, see this video, because this should answer your question. So it's weird, throughout the years, Sambar had 2 vents on the valve covers, or 1 vent. I thought the 1 vent were just on carbureted Sambars, but I think I've heard from somebody else that theirs was carbureted and then 2 vents. So I don't know, maybe they switched throughout the years and went to 2 vents and not a single vent. But mine came with a single vent. Originally came with a single vent, and that single vent went right through the air box, and that's where the oil goes. And that's why I put the breathers on, because I don't want that oil spilling into the air box and gumming everything up, essentially. You can run an oil catch can. I did a video on installing an oil catch can. But I like the breathers because they just look cool, and you can clean them and reuse them. So if it's gonna build up oil eventually, of course, because that's what happens. All the blow-by goes out of here. This truck came with a 1 vent, single vent. I got this valve cover because I do sell them. It got dinged. Again, they get dinged in the mail because Amazon Japan doesn't really package them that well. So if you do buy them from Amazon Japan, beware. They get trashed. They get pretty trashed sometimes. So anyways, the corner was dented in, and it was another cosmetic thing where it wasn't gonna affect the performance or anything. It's not leaking oil, so it didn't ruin it, but it's just a bummer because it dented, a really nice, expensive valve cover. So I was like, well, I can't sell it. Let's just use it and throw 2 vents on it, just because it'll be super double cool with the double vents. So that's what I did. I ran the 2 vents on here. This truck came with a single vent, so I ran the 2 vents. But the ones with the 2 vents, I would not recommend running 2 breathers like this, because one is actually coming from your oil pan. One of the vent lines is coming from the oil pan up to one of these vents, and then one vent goes to your air box. So what I would do is I would definitely leave the one coming out of the oil pan and up, just because you need to relieve some of that pressure. Sorry about that. My phone was full of storage per usual. I need to get a bigger storage phone. Anyways, what I was saying, leave the tube coming up from your oil pan to one of these vents, and then one with a breather. I wouldn't recommend running 2 breathers and plugging that vent line coming from the oil pan, just because they're probably trying to relieve pressure from inside the lower part of the engine. I don't know, you might risk blowing out a front or a rear main seal or something. So anyways, that is why I have 2 breathers. Again, I have all this stuff in my store if you're interested in doing this. Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Just the squid pipes, address the squid pipes, address the valve covers with the 2 breathers. But if yours came with a single vent and you want to run 2, awesome. But if yours came stock with a 2 vent, again, just leave that tube connected. It's probably gonna be the safest route. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have a whole lot in the works, other than just lowered the Bravo and just driving around the Bravo and getting a good feel of that, so then I can do a good comparison video of the Sambar and the Acti and the Bravo. Again, of course, Sambars are still my favorite, but that Bravo's definitely fun to cruise around. I still feel like the Sambars have a little more power, but it's hard to say because that Bravo is a 4-wheel or all-wheel drive all the time, and these are 2-wheel drive selectable, so you know, you can put it in 2 and 4 and you're not always on 4. So I feel like some of the power gets dragged out by turning all 4 wheels, but that van sure is fun to drive around. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, just hit me up. Check out the OK Garage store if you need parts. Always constantly trying to keep stuff in stock, and if something is on back order, that just means I'm getting it from Japan. So you can order it and it will hold your spot in line, because some of the stuff sells out pretty quick, so it's hard to keep up with the demand sometimes. But again, really appreciate the support, guys, and buying stuff from the store. It helps me to keep trying to make videos and motivated to do so, because I feel like I spend a lot of time just trying to get parts and packaging parts. So it's been hard to get out and make videos, but I figured, hey, I'm already out here. Let's just do some talking and explaining about some stuff I get questions about. So hopefully that will kind of clear the air with a few things. If I haven't answered someone's question, if they ask me, and not ghosting you, I just honestly, stuff just in one side of the brain, out the other. Just hard to keep up with everything. But yeah, again, I'm not sure what we have in the works, other than I'm finishing up a wrap on a buddy's Daihatsu Move, and from there we'll just keep tinkering along with the other things that we got going on. But yeah, cool. Take it easy, guys. If you got any questions, hit me up. Like, subscribe, whatever, if you want to. That would help me out a lot, and I'd appreciate it. So cool. Take it easy, guys.